What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video and welcome to the weekly kickoff. In today's video, guys, as usual, we're gonna have a full breakdown of all of the events coming to Raid Shadow Legends this week. We have the new fusion, we have everyone's favorite game mode starting tomorrow, which is, of course, clan versus clan. And I'm just being sarcastic if you're wondering. This time around, it is featuring personal rewards. Now, Plarium actually confirmed that the main rewards for this CVC will be materials to forge relics. So that's what you can expect right here at the top. No reaction or a blood shield accessories. In my opinion, it is better, at least for endgame and honestly, even for early game, mid game, because having the opportunity to fuse a relic that could potentially turn out to be game-changing is definitely much better than a crappy accessory that you can easily replace, right? Especially considering how scarce the materials are. Now, of course, we're gonna have tons of summoning events. We have tons of different things happening. We had an update today which introduced a few new champions. I think around 5 champions, 6 champions, I can't even remember. We have a new Void Legendary from the Sylvan Watchers. And we have a bunch of different ones, but we're going to go over the summoning events in just a second. First, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder. If you got to complete any clan quests, make sure you do it. Seems like I need to do all 3 of mine before the reset, which is happening in 19 hours. If you got to purchase anything from the clan shop, make sure you guys do it as well. And it goes the same for the actual bazaar. I just remember that I need to purchase mine from here. So make sure you guys pick up the goodies if you have to do it. If your weekly reset happens now, is different for pretty much every single person. Probably you've seen that in the token trader we actually have 2 new champions. We have Cillian and we have Genzin. It is pretty expensive. You're only getting 500 points for trading a dupe legendary. So was this 6 legendaries to get a Cillian dupe and 6 to get a Genzin? I mean, damn. Very, very expensive. They're both decent champions. Cillian, great for the Karsiri, great for faction wars, especially once the new difficulty will be released. Genzin is pretty good as well. But damn, they're pretty expensive, okay? Let me just leave it there. Talking about the fusion, guys. I feel like they've made it much easier on me. Probably much easier for a lot of you guys. We're going to get to the fusion calendar in a second. I'm going to skip this fusion, okay? So just to be crystal clear, I'm not going to fuse Listen here, Beast Bane. Even though he looks pretty badass design-wise, his damage felt really underwhelming. In my opinion, he's not really bringing anything that other champions are bringing to the table. It's not like he's a one-man army. You put him in your Hydra team and bang, magic happens and your team is going to transform. Unfortunately, it's not the case. He's a pretty mediocre champion. Up to you guys if you're gonna go to collect the Pokemon, but personally, I'm going to skip it. I don't need more Faction Guardians for my High Elves. And yes, you might be summoning him, do the fusion, and you're gonna be able to fill up your Faction Guardians, which is nice. But other than that, I really don't think that this champion is something very, very interesting. Now, this is a hybrid fusion, which means that we're going to collect the epic fragments from events. We're gonna fuse the epics, then we're gonna fuse the legendary, right? They tend to be a bit harder just because if you are missing any events and you're not collecting the fragments, you're kind of screwed, right? Unlike the regular fusions where you can summon a rare, maybe you can summon the epic. Of course, you can summon this epic as well if you're lucky enough, but it is a bit harder than the usual fusion. Talking about the calendar, it is a pretty tedious one, okay? You're gonna get a total of 450 fragments for the epic champions. Now, 50 of them come from the extra, which is the hero pet event. Gives you 50 plus 50. It's not gonna be easy to get this done, especially that we have one summon rush right here, as you guys can probably notice, and the hero pet is going to be considered kind of like a summon rush as well. Of course, we don't know that for a fact. It's not 100% sure that the scoring system for the hero pet will be similar with a summon rush, and is not going to be similar with a champion chase tournament. But I'm pretty convinced that most likely it will be similar with a Summon Rush. Which means that you're going to need a lot of Sacred Shards, a lot of Primal Shards, a lot of Void Shards to accumulate a lot of points during these events. That's why, personally, this calendar is just making my life much, much easier. You know what? I'm not going to go for the Fusion, and that's mainly because this is pretty damn harsh, pretty hardcore, especially if you're not super prepared with shards. Like, you can easily miss the fusion because you might not have enough shards to complete the hero path. Now, of course, the hero path can be with something else. Champion training, which is pretty unlikely considering that a champion training tournament ends in the same day. Maybe we're going to have to farm gear because we do not have another dungeon divers throughout this period. So most likely it's going to be the third dungeon diver integrated together with the hero path, or summon soul stones or other things like that. But either way, this should make everybody's life easier. I don't think it's a fusion worth going for. But of course, you never know what can happen in the future and where this champion is going to become super OP, even though I really, really doubt it. I mean, we have a bunch of different champions in here that can bring in decreased speed. They can bring in defense down. As weakened champions, it's true, we don't really have that many. We have Itos, we have Balanor, which are both Void legendaries. And I can't really recall any other one landing AoE weaken. But either way, you don't really need it. You don't really need it. You have Tyral for defense down, Royal Guard, single target defense down, decreased speed. So you have a lot of epics that are actually putting in some serious work in the game. So yeah, I am not going for the fusion. Up to you guys if you're planning to go for it. If we're quickly going to have a look at the Plarium play calendar right here to see if we're going to have any type of different events that are not actually appearing on the Fusion calendar, I'm not really noticing anything in particular. So you have the Summon Rush right here, which gives you Fragment Gear Enhancement, Dungeon Diver, Champion Training, Spider Tournament, Fire Knight Tournament, Classic Arena. So it doesn't seem like we have any Sand Devil Necropolis tournament, at least not at the moment, or anything like that, right? That's basically what I was looking for. No event for Prism Crystals either, at least not at the moment. Now, leaving all that on the side, time to actually have a look at what champions we're going to have for tomorrow and for Wednesday. This Fusion calendar to me is kind of like a WTF Plarium, but either way, as I've mentioned, I'm going to skip it. So, just in case if you're lazy and you don't want to watch the entire video, you might be busy or something like that, these are the champions that we have on the list, guys, okay? We have quite a few decent champions at the same time, which is actually good, considering that we have clan versus clan. We have, of course, no events for the Fusion in terms of summoning, so you gotta keep that in mind as well. Don't get baited if you're trying to go for the Fusion, but I'm gonna start a poll, actually. Do me a favor, go and vote on the community tab. How many of you guys are going for the Fusion? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. But as I've mentioned, we have some solid champions. Let's quickly have a couple of words about them. Karin the Harvester. Now, that is one of the new champions, if I am not mistaken. And honestly, I did forget which faction he is from. Karin the Harvester. Kind of sounds like a Sylvan Watcher. But he might not be. No, we have Kelder right here, actually. So where are you from? Which faction? Let's quickly go faction by faction till we find him. I actually forgot all of the factions for the new champions. I've seen them on the test server, but I haven't really made a video on any of them just yet. I will be doing one on the faction unity for the Sylvan Watchers. Seems pretty interesting, so keep an eye on that. Okay, where are you, man? Where are you? Seems like I'm gonna have to knock at every single door. There we go, we found him. The Lizard Man. Karin the Harvester. So this is a support champion. Design-wise, he looks pretty cool. I like the design on the champion. Decent base stats. 109 speed. With A1, attacks all enemies. Has a chance of placing decreased speed for 2 turns. Steals 5% of each enemy's stir meter. Steals 10% of each enemy's stir meter instead if they are under decreased speed. With A2 attacks an enemy, puts all of the target skills on cooldown, and has a chance of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies under a sleep debuff by 15%, and has a chance of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies without sleep by 30% instead. So, pretty nice turn meter manipulation. With A3, an AoE attack that has a chance to put sleep on all enemies and will ignore any immunity buffs, then grants an extra turn. Personally, I really dislike the sleep as a debuff. I find it super, super weak. Very easy for them to wake up if they have an HP burn, if you deal some damage to them, if they have poisons. Basically, it's just not a very good form of crowd control. Now, his passive has a bit of a twist in here. The passive effect, whenever an enemy attempts to increase their turn meter, decreases the value of that turn meter fill effect by 25%. If there are multiple champions, of course, only one of these skills will activate. Now, this is actually not bad. If you have somebody trying to boost their turn meter, you're basically going to knock down 25% of that. Pretty decent. Then, the active effect, whenever a sleep debuff is removed or expires on a target, instantly activates the A2 skill, which will put their the skills on cooldown. Now, this will not activate if you basically remove the sleep by damaging them. So it needs to be an HP burn, it needs to be a poison, etc. Maybe even a cleanse from the enemy team will actually activate this skill. I'm curious when it activates on multiple champions at the same time, what will happen? I guess it will only work on one champion, right? The one that removes the sleep first, puts the skills on cooldown, then manipulates the turn meter, and that's about it. And you have an accuracy aura in arena battles. Seems pretty interesting. I wouldn't call the champion OP. I wouldn't necessarily call him trash either, because he does seem to have some form of potential. I'm gonna have to basically play him around a little bit and make my opinion after. Moving on to the next one, we have Thor. Thor is an absolute freaking monster. Like, who needs to go for this trash fusion that we currently have on when you have Thor, right? Like, my god, the damage that Thor brings in compared to this champion is probably 3x higher, 4x higher, maybe even more than that, okay? AoE decrease speed, his self buffs, tons of crazy damage, not only for Hydra, he's just much better in pretty much most of the content. I really think that Thor is 5 times better than the current fusion. So if you have Thor, don't even think about going for the fusion. But I'm not trying to influence you guys. You do your own thing. Make your own opinion. I'm just giving you my take on the fusion champion. Super strong. Then we have Ewa Street Dream Song. She was a fusion champion as well. She is pretty good for the Chimera as well if you don't have a Neck Motar, to be honest. Decrease speed, weaken, turn meter manipulation, increase speed, increase attack, a bit of heal from the passive. Good for arena. A lot of people are using her in gold arena, in live arena, to be honest. Tag team arena, Hydra clan boss, in tons of content. She's actually a pretty awesome champion. Moving on to the next one, we have Lady Kimi. She's not what she used to be. She's still usable in Hydra, usable in Chimera. She's actually pretty interesting because she brings the decreased accuracy, decreased speed, increased accuracy, and increased speed. And she can strip a buff, put block buffs, which is really helpful. Turn meter manipulation. One thing that I really hate on her, man, is this speed aura for the Doom Tower battles. It's the dumbest thing ever. This should be 25% in all battles, 20% in all battles, 28% in arena, or something that's not related to the Doom Tower, because nobody gives a damn about this aura in the Doom Tower, especially on Lady Kimi. Overall, she's a pretty good champion. Personally, I really think she's better than Chris in the Chimera, and that's mainly because of the buffs and debuffs that she brings to the table. And overall, yeah, I still think she's a solid champion, especially with a 115 speed base. A lot of people are still using her in arena. Moving on to the next one, we have Strategos Iceland. Definitely not a bad champion whatsoever. If you're looking at the current Hydra records for the Hydra clan boss, the ones that are using Fina, Tranda, and all the funky things, he's usually part of the teams, mainly because of the provoke, AoE decreased speed. Then you have the ally protection, increased defense, the counter attack, which makes him a good mischief target, accuracy aura. Like, he was he was a fusion as well. And he brings you decreased speed to provoke. He's much better than the current fusion in the Hydra, in my opinion. Even though he's not really a damage dealer, overall, he's just better, okay? So, pretty awesome champion, to be honest. Not OP or anything like that, but he can definitely get the job done. Mischief target, put a decreased speed, a provoke in the Hydra, especially now that they changed the AI and all of these champions that attack with the A1 and it's not an AoE and they land provoke, they will prioritize to attack the head of Decay, which is actually really helpful. Moving on to the voids. In my opinion, the best void that we have on the menu is going to be Payday Crest. And it might be because I don't have him, but I think he's a really strong champion. Attacks one enemy, each hit heals all allies, each hit fills the turn meter of the ally with the lowest turn meter. AoE attack before attacking removes all buffs from all enemies, places block buffs, decrease speed, fills the turn meter of all allies, places increased resistance, perfect veil, decreases all of the cooldowns of your champions. Pretty good passive as well, a lot of turn meter coming from here too. Really strong champion, especially for the Chimera. And of course, even for the Hydra clan boss. I haven't really tried him in PvP at all, to be honest. Maybe he could potentially be pretty interesting in that as well, but I'm not really seeing him as a massive threat, right? This is basically his best move in PvP plus the passive. But honestly, he's a nice champion. I would definitely love to get him. He's my, I think, second or third most wanted Void champion in the game. I have Cena, and I have, of course, the Dwarf damage dealer, plus him on the list that I would love to basically get. Then we have Krisk. Krisk is on the menu as well, guys. He's still a strong champion. I'm still using both of my Krisks in the Hydra clan boss. I think I'm using one of them in the Iron Twins. Overall, he's a very complete champion. I feel like progression-wise, he might be one of the best champions in the entire game. AoE decreased speed, the increased duration of buffs, ally protection, continuous heals, provoke, increased defense, increased speed, the passive. Best builds for Krisk, at least in my opinion, I think Curse Set. Curse Set plus a 4-piece Merciless if you can get that on. So you decrease the cooldowns of the skills and basically have them available more often. Really powerful champion. Then we have Traumaria. I would love 4 more Traumarias to be able to empower my... oh wait, Traumaria, not Thumesia. My bad. I'm not sure why I was thinking about Thumesia. Traumaria, not Thumesia. I'm not empowering my horse with Traumaria. She got a buff a few months ago. She's actually much better than she used to be. You have a speed aura for all battles. That's what Lady Kimi should have as well. Pretty good stats. You have an AoE with decreased speed and a chance to place fear. You have an AoE attack with a chance to stun, and after attacking decreases the enemy's turn meter, removes all debuffs from all allies, then fills their turn meter, places an immunity, and the passive makes her immune to crowd control debuffs, which is really good, because if she's fast enough, you're going to be able to just go in and cleanse the rest, remove the crowd control debuffs, and bang. She would have been much better if she was immune to polymorph as well, and basically cleanse that polymorph somehow. That would have made her much better for PvP, but even as she is, I think she's a pretty good champion. Much better than she was before, and to be honest, the design on her is just absolutely badass. Then, Wednesday, guys, we're gonna have another 15x chance event, giving you the chance to summon the champions of your dreams. Starting with my most wanted non-void legendary, that's not a faction unity champion, and that is Glacier of the Melt Water. Speed aura for all battles. He's kind of like the real version of Duchess 2.0, in my opinion. Chance to freeze. You have increased attack, perfect veil, and turn meter. You have a revive with increased accuracy and increased defense, and this can activate even if you have no dead allies. You have the passive, which boosts the damage by 10%. I feel like he's definitely a pretty solid champion. Hydra clan boss. If you don't have Cena, Elva, other crazy revivers for the Chimera, he's going to be the next best version, in my opinion, as well. So overall, pretty solid non-void legendary. I would definitely love to get him. Who knows? I might gamble my sacred shards. I'm pretty deep into the Mercy. I have only 2 sacred shards, so I might try to get him. Then we have Nekmotar. This is your chance to actually get this freaking Chimera and Hydra monster. But to be honest, he's really the Chimera GOAT, okay? Speed aura for all battles, decrease attack, decrease speed, leech, turn meter, increase speed, extra turn, and a passive. I feel like he is just so freaking insane for the Chimera, guys. Now you have two builds for this champion. Either a Relentless plus an Impulse plus Refresh accessories, which work great on the right affinity for him. If not, you want to get an Affinity Breaker set, and you can still use him throughout every single Chimera rotation. At least that's what I'm doing, and he's really performing excellent, okay? He's really, really good. So, if you are missing Negmotar, think twice. This might be your moment. Then we have Opardin Clanfather. Since the buff, he's actually really good in the Chimera as well, and that's mainly because of the passive. Now, unlike Cena from the Dwarf faction, guys, he doesn't feel the turn meter of all allies. He feels the turn meter of each ally individually whenever a continuous heal activates. He's still really, really good. I actually played him in the Chimera. It boosted my damage quite a bit in that team. You get a cleanse, you get a removes all block buffs and heal reduction. It's not a full cleanse, but it's actually pretty decent. And gives you immunity too. You have a pretty solid healing right here. And overall, yeah, a nice champion. Now, you can build him either on Supersonic, either you build him on 9-piece protection. You have a couple of different options. Or hell, even on Relentless and Impulse, or even Reflex could work if you're trying to basically put up a lot of continuous heal buffs on your team. Then we have Stock the Broken. Stock the Broken, what is it? An Ogre Tribes. He was a fusion a while ago. Click, click, click. Please go on. I still think he's decent. A lot of my clanmates are actually using him in PvP to deal with Marichkas and other champions. Increase speed in all battles, and this passive. The damage inflicted by poison and HP burn debuffs will ignore block damage and unkillable. That's what makes him really, really good for PvP. I showed you the strategy before the fusion was actually live and stuff. Super solid strategy with him for PvP, and even for PvE, he's actually not bad, to be honest. Pretty decent champion considering that he was a fusion. True, he does have more niche uses, but not a bad champion. Then we have Kaja the Rai. She was guaranteed from a Deck of Fate event. Not a bad reviver or anything like that. I know a few people are using her in live arena. Speed aura for all battles. You have the turn meter, immunity. You have the revive. As I've mentioned, she's not a bad champion. She's not the best reviver in the game or anything like that. But she can get the job done, to be honest. So, overall, a pretty decent champion. Now, either you build her full speed, either you build her on protection. I don't necessarily think that she is the best for the Chimera, but she can be used in the Chimera as well if you don't have other solid revivers that are better than her. Overall, decent. Moving on to the next one, we have Aratea Corpse Flower. This is the new Void Legendary from the Sylvan Watchers, an attack-based champion. I love the design. She reminds me of some heroes from King Arthur Legends Rise, kind of like the enemies in there. The base stats are not good, so I'm not excited about the low HP and the low attack, to be honest. With A1, attacks an enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 10%, fills this champion's turn meter by an additional 10% if the enemy is under a hex. Will counterattack using this skill when hit by enemies under a hex debuff, which is pretty nice, especially if she has good damage. With the A2, AoE attack, damage increases by 10 for each enemy under a hex debuff, will ignore shield and strength and buffs, will also ignore block damage buffs on enemies under a hex debuff. Fills this champion's turn meter by 30% and fills this champion's turn meter by an additional 20% for each enemy killed by this skill. And with the A3, places an increased accuracy buff on all allies, has a chance of placing a Death Brand debuff on a target enemy for 2 turns. Also, has a chance of placing a Hex debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Then fills the champion's turn meter, fills the champion's turn meter by an additional 10% for each debuff placed by this skill. Also places a block damage on the champion for 1 turn, which is decent that you're getting the block damage. Nice debuff, nice buff on here. I don't think she attacks with this skill, right? Just places, has a chance to place that, but she's not attacking by the looks of it. So, not too sure how I feel about that, considering that she is meant to be a damage dealer. If this champion kills one or more enemies in a battle, will ignore 10% of the target's defense. Instantly sucks for Hydra, for example. Now, Hex shines the most in the Hydra clan boss. It might be great for faction wars, don't get me wrong, but for arena, I'm not necessarily seeing this champion like very interesting, like landing the Hex, getting polymorph, and waiting another turn to deal damage, not ignoring any of the super important buffs, right? Yes, block damage can be found on some champions, shield and strength and etc., but no stone skin or anything that's a bit more juicy, right? I'm not her biggest fan, but I need to do a guide on her, see what sort of damage she deals. Then we have Yinchenza. I actually love Yinchenza. I'm only using her in the Hydra. I know I've promised it probably like 20 times. I'm going to do a guide on her for arena, guys. I did not have a chance to do that yet. Pretty good base stats. AoE attack with increased attack and having an ally joining the attack. Poison Cloud, increased speed, continuous heal, and fills the thermometer by 50% on an ally. AoE attack with defense down and weaken, and will ignore immunity, which is really good. And you have the passive. Overall, pretty solid champion, especially for the Hydra clan boss. I haven't tried her in the Chimera, to be honest. I feel like while she does bring a few interesting and necessary debuffs in there, Lydia, she's just a better champion for the Chimera. And everybody can get her, right? That's the point. And in the Chimera, you don't have to constantly swap teams around. And the last champion on the list, guys, Siphi, the Lost Bride. I would love another copy just to get my empowerment to +2 and get that freaking extra speed on her, but I'm not really going to break the bank for it. She's crazy good for live arena, good for arena in general. I don't necessarily think that she's that insane in PvE. We have champions with much better cooldowns nowadays, right? This is on a 4-turn cooldown, a single revive on a 4-turn cooldown. So, you guys know the drill, but she's still a very insane champion for PvP. That's pretty much everything for this weekly kickoff, guys. Tons of champions on the list. If you're not going for the fusion and you're trying to get one of these champions, keep in mind, a 15x chance just sucks, guys. You gotta get super lucky to actually put your hand on any of those champions. Now, I do want to give you guys one quick reminder for whoever is actually able to play this game mode that they actually have right here, the limited time game mode. You have 19 hours left to complete it and collect the primal shard. I actually need to do the last stage and collect all of the rewards from here. Make sure you guys do it as well. A primal shard is a primal shard, and who knows, you might be getting an amazing mythical champion out of it. As usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. If you enjoyed the content, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and do me a solid, drop a comment and help with that YouTube algorithm. And please do not forget to head over to the community tab and vote and let me know you're going for the fusion or not. Much love, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.